Good morning and welcome, everyone. Today, I am honoring the comfort givers with Linda Swanson and Kimberly Swanson Thomas. I am honored to have them join me as the last responders on the front line. I am Dr. Pauline Jones Furman, the Executive Director of the Center for Individual and Family Counseling, and my personal mission is to inspire love, hope, and healing. When dealing with death and dying, it can be hard to find the right words. Many of us hesitate to say anything to the bereaved, worrying that we will say the wrong things. Well, today, we're talking to two people who counsel, console, and comfort on a daily basis. I would like to welcome Miss Linda Swanson and her sister, Kimberly Swanson Thomas of the Swanson Funeral Homes. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Funeral services traditionally have been for us to pay tribute and to honor the deceased and soothe the living. COVID-19 has significantly altered our ability to do that in many respects. On March 10, 2020, only 2 coronavirus cases had been discovered in Michigan, a female in Oakland County and a male in Wayne County. All of our lives changed drastically last March 16th when Governor Whitmer issued an executive order declaring a state of emergency and temporarily closing so many places. Ms. Swanson and Ms. Thomas's life's work is an integral part of our African American community. We all know a part of living is dying, even if we don't plan for it. Funeral services are typically something we will need eventually. So I would like the Swanson sisters to feel free to share their feelings, experiences surrounding this pandemic during this past year. So, would you please reflect back to March of 2020 and describe how your services shifted drastically following the onset of this pandemic? And I'm going to ask either of you to choose whoever would like to respond first.
I'd like first, Dr. Furman, to express our gratitude to you for the opportunity, the invitation to be here to share with you and the listeners of your podcast this morning. Thank you so very much for recognizing not just the faithful staff family that we serve shoulder to shoulder with, but to all men and women in funeral service here in our community, and all services connected with funeral service professionals. We thank you collectively for giving us this opportunity to come and to share with you this morning.
Thank you.
Yes.
Kim?
We're humbled. As I reflect back, I think on that period in March, my mind races because I think of so many different things that affected not only how I served in our community, but how I matriculated in my personal life. I have a young school-age daughter who was affected and became a virtual student. In the midst of all of this, we lost our father, which for my sister and I was a gut punch. I remember that day specifically because we lost our father, I would say, at 5:29 a.m. By 10 a.m., my sister and I were on phone lines making arrangements for families that we were serving, and not realizing at that moment just what we were stepping into, but knowing that we had entered into a realm that was unfamiliar to both of us, for sure. I would like to think that we served and did what we did that March day because of the grace of God and certainly the hand of our Father watching over us and shepherding us through all of this. But it was something that neither one of us, I think, in retrospect, were anticipating and would really know the brevity of this until after looking back. But it has tremendously affected our lives. And I know that, as I said, looking back on that day, we were catapulted into a situation that we were unfamiliar. We were in uncharted waters.
Truly.
And it is only the grace of God that we have been able to, by the grace of God, that we've been able to come this far. As Lynn said, we have a phenomenal staff family. And I know that because they served alongside of us, we were able to get through this period. It is certainly has been a team effort. And we are so grateful to each and every one of them for serving alongside and making this leap with us.
My sister's absolutely right, Dr. Furman, and right on point, for sure. This is, as we all know, a very unprecedented time for which none of us in this community were prepared for. But what we know, Kim and I, and our staff family, is that faith will get you through anything. Anything. And I've said over and over again throughout this time that it's one thing to hear about how important faith is in your life. It's another thing to live long enough to go through some things and to really have to activate your faith to lift you and to move you forward into difficulty day after day. You know, though we were unprepared for this very unprecedented time, there was something that our mother and father did for us as children that made it possible, not just for us to survive it, but to thrive in the midst of it. And that's that they introduced us to the Lord God. They took us as little children to Sunday school, not requiring us to join a church necessarily, but to be educated about God's Word. And when we were old enough to make the decision as to where we wanted to go, we did. But they introduced us to the Lord. They spoke of Him openly and consistently in our home environment. Our grandparents did the same. And we developed a strong faith that has been our guiding light throughout our lives. And when this happened, there was so much that everyone was ill prepared for, and us included. But we had the one weapon, the one weapon that we needed most, and that was the Lord. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And He is what has brought us through. You know, not to minimize war, and I've never been an enlisted person, my sister nor I, but we have been on the battlefield. We have been to war. There's no question about it. We were functioning with less than a third of our staff family because some were sick, some were home with elders and afraid to come into the work environment, with more calamity, more work to be done than we had people to do it. You know, elders say, yes, the elders say, and the song says, when I look back over my life and I think about where the Lord has brought me from, my soul cries out, hallelujah. Mm-hmm. And that's all that I can say, because I think Kim and I, if you ask us some specific questions, there's just some things I can't answer because I don't know how we did it. Mm-hmm. I don't know how we did it, but God. But God. But God. Our staff family came together shoulder to shoulder and did miraculous things. And that's God working through every one of us, linked shoulder to shoulder. And we were a lot of things. We were emotionally distraught. We were overcome, not just by our own loss, which has been devastating to us. Devastating to us. But by the loss of so many loved ones in so many families. And we serve very closely the community that we work in and have been raised with the clientele that we serve. And so the people that we serve are friends and extended family members and people that we've known all of our lives. Mm-hmm. And to watch families throughout this community losing relatives one after another in the same family, and all because we were not prepared by this government in advance, was heralding and very hurtful. And together, our staff family, along with my sister and I, held tight to one another. And we prayed, and we prayed daily. And the Lord has brought us through. And not to be fooled, we are through prayerfully the worst part of this pandemic, and we will never see the likes of it ever again. But we want our community to know that it is not finished. Please stay vigilant with the protective measures that the CDC and the scientists are admonishing us to take, please.
Thank you so much for infusing your faith into your work, into your personal lives. You are all over my questions. You are rolling all over my questions, and I'm delighted that you are openly sharing the experiences that you've had. I really would like to find out more about how did you manage with PPE, personal protective equipment for yourselves and your staff? Was it easily accessible for your business? How did you make do?
Not initially. Initially, PPE, as everyone knows by now, was very difficult to get anywhere. But of course, it went, that which was available and became available, went immediately to the hospitals, and later trickled down a bit to EMS workers and whatnot. And I think you said at the beginning of this hour, you referenced funeral service professionals at the bottom tier of essential workers, and that is exactly how we felt. We felt it, and we really felt it strong. Contrary to what many people believe, the coronavirus is very, very much alive after death, and we were very subject to its infectious nature and the dangers of handling it. And so it was very important that we be protected at every level. Those staff, family that were responsible for meeting with clients, those that did not have the technological ability to have a Zoom call or a FaceTime call to make arrangements, to those that were on our phones, on our front desks, that were greeting clients coming in, and certainly those that were handling human remains, either in the removal process or the embalming process or the preparatory for cremation services. Very important for everyone at every level to be properly protected. Right away, we had those folks that work with us to come in and to put up plexiglass encasements around our front desks to protect our workers. We did some of what you've seen a lot of businesses do to spring into action, bearing in mind that because we did not know what all we needed to do to protect ourselves, we had to really get creative. But again, thank God. Folks say it, thank God for Jesus and some common sense.
Thank you.
Because, we just did what black folk do.
That's right.
We took a little bit and made a lot of it.
That's right.
We took our garbage bags and created the outer protective suits and that we needed to wear in preparation. We created visors and various other things with plastic we had, and we just got creative. We just did what we had to do.
That's right.
And we continue to do that. And in some cases, those PPE that we created have served us better
exactly right.
than what we eventually were able to get our hands on a little at a time.
That's right.
So we thank God for some common sense. We thank God for Jesus. We thank God for our Father that has taught us so much about being prepared for the unexpected,
My. It has been a challenge. Tell me more about how was the level of fear regarding the virus expressed by your staff members within your business?
And I think that to answer that question, as the community, as a whole, because we were dealing with the unknown, much like the hospital staff, there were protocols in the beginning that we could not put in place because we didn't know what we were dealing with. And as Lynn said earlier, there were staff members that, for various reasons, did not come in. Some of them, because of that fear of the unknown, we took, I think, as Lynn was saying, we took every opportunity to make sure that our staff family, to the best of our ability, was protected. And to that point, those that were not comfortable coming in, even after there were certain measures put in place, were allowed to stay home and were compensated in that period. Because, as Lynn said, and as you've heard me refer to them, they are family.
Yes.
And family takes care of family. Mm-hmm. That's how we were raised, and that's how we functioned. So we allowed for those that were not comfortable to stay home. My husband, who is in Pontiac, has elderly staff members, and the same held true. And to date, there are still some staff members there that have not come back. So we look after our family, and things are better. But as Lynn said, this is certainly not the time to let our guard down. Right. And we do admonish our community that we love so very dearly to protect yourselves, to adhere to the CDC guidelines, and yes, to use some good old-fashioned common sense.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We know that within the state of Michigan, 32% of African Americans contracted COVID-19. However, we made up 41% of the population that died, despite the fact that we only make up 14% of the state's population. We are aware that the disparities include a variety of concerns surrounding health issues as well as health care challenges along these racial lines. Nationwide, we are aware that Black and brown residents are 3 times more likely to die from the virus. We are struggling with managing all of the losses that we have experienced. Even in my own practice, I have had so many patients who have lost so many loved ones, who needed time off from work to grieve, to deal with the challenges of no longer having that loved one present. It has been difficult across the board, from the individuals who work in the settings to serve, to you being the last responders to deal with our lives when we have died. We know the entire system became overwhelmed, from hospitals, morgues, to funeral homes. This has been difficult, but we will talk more right after this break. Thank you.
SF Hardy presents Dancing Monkeys in My Soup. While on vacation in Peru, Jabbar discovers pygmy marmosets dancing in his dinner suit.
There's something in it!
Leaving the family alarmed and confused. They don't know how to get the monkeys out of the soup. Do you? SF Hardy, literacy advocate, author, and founder of Get Litty Family Reading Readiness Program, presents Dancing Monkeys in My Soup.
Here at Felt Smart, we challenge the mind and awaken the senses through every fun felt experience.
We're gonna make pineapple and broccoli cheese pizza.
The Pizza Eco Wall provides a variety of games that teach math, memory,
with the yummy cheese twist.
Toddlers love to play
Peekaboo.
while discovering the hidden treasures on the Lift-A-Flap Eco-Wall. They will strengthen their memories, learn animal recognition, cause and effect, all while making cute animal sounds.
A ballet dancer helps children talk about good touch and bad touch with comfortable, fun activities for everyone.
Weather outside today, Layla. It's gloomy.
The Weather Palace teaches children to observe the weather, drip, drop, and then decide what is the best way to dress for today.
Be smart, feel smart, felt smart.
Welcome back. I would like for you both to please share how your business managed the influx of needs of funeral services from the grieving families, if you would.
In terms of the numbers?
Yes, the numbers that the phone is ringing constantly, the overflow of need from all over the city, the state. How did you deal with that influx, which I'm assuming was much greater than it was the previous year?
You know, in 2019, here in Michigan, we probably saw approximately anywhere from 7,000 to 9,000 deaths a month. In 2020, that same rate per month was approximately 9,000 to 13,000 a month. It was catastrophic in some instances. It was the trickle-down effect in terms of dealing with those kinds of numbers. There are still some aspects of that volume that are still affected. For example, records. Municipalities in our area in the beginning of the pandemic shut down because there were no protocols put in place, and until things could be figured out, they shut down, essentially shutting down the ability for us to, on all levels, do business. Mm-hmm. We could not go to clerk's offices to procure our records. Without those records, there was no filing. Without filing, we were unable to secure benefits for our families from insurance companies. Without filing, we were unable to, with a quickness, bury and or cremate anyone. Mm-hmm. It was a trickle-down effect, and to date, still we are grappling with the effects of this. Mm-hmm. Because within this community, we still have different municipalities that still do not function normally. There are many who mail, so we cannot go in freely as we used to procure records. It has just been a day-to-day learning experience for us, for sure. And in the beginning, back in March, when we were learning as we go, that trickle-down effect, and as you ask about the numbers that we were dealing with, it was boots on the ground and all hands on deck. And as Lynn said,
24 hours.
We were dealing with a situation where we did not have a full staff. So those who were present were 24 hours. 24 hours. If we left the office to go home, we were still working and still dealing with the business of our families. And much, you mentioned, Dr. Furman, that you give hope and try to give light and peace, and that is what we try to do for our families. And in all of this, dealing with those kinds of numbers, the one thing I think that Lynn and I would say that we have tried our best to do is to give our families, to still give them that. And to that point, that meant that we were dealing literally 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. Working around the clock. And working around the clock, doing Zoom calls and telephone calls, making arrangements, but also taking business calls from clients that we were currently serving or had served in the past or had just served in the recent past that were just needing someone to talk to.
Yes.
We found ourselves wearing so many different hats, but grateful that we're prepared to do so because we love God and because even when we didn't have the information or even the words to say, if you pray and you ask God to speak through you, He does. And like we said, you may not remember what you said.
That's right.
But it doesn't matter because when you turn it over to Him and He speaks through you and it brings light and love to someone and it lifts them in the midst of darkness, and then God has spoken. And we are grateful.
Absolutely.
We are just so grateful. We have felt and continue to feel every moment our Father walking along with us as we move through utter darkness in this thing. And so we thank Him who is our angel in all of this.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
What were you thinking when you saw the need for refrigerated tractor-trailer trucks being used to hold human remains?
And that's interesting because I remember the conversation that my sister and I had when we got to that pivotal point. And I remember Lynn calling and saying, "What do you think?" And both of us agreed. We serve a community that we dearly love, and because of that care and concern for our community and for our neighbors, we found it not in the best interest for us to have those refrigerated trucks on our properties, because we were concerned for those neighbors and the community that would be in our presence and in our midst and there at the offices. We didn't want them to see that. We knew what that was. We knew what it was to see that day in and day out, and we didn't want that for them.
No. We have professionals that work with us that own livery companies that pick up loved ones from hospitals and from area morgues and whatnot and home. And during the worst months of this, there were times when those persons would come in and just had to sit down, and some of them would cry. You saw them in the hallways with their heads in their hands, just devastated after having to go into these refrigerated morgues on wheels in the darkness to retrieve loved ones' bodies. And because there were so many Oftentimes they were not properly cataloged and placed, and it was a horrific experience to have to retrieve a loved one in a dark vessel with no light. It was horrific. It was war. It was war on so many levels. And so, no, we did not want that. We did not want our neighbors looking out the window while they were preparing their morning coffee to have to see that. And for that to wreak further emotional and mental havoc in their lives.
My. What were some of the ways you kept your staff motivated to keep pushing forward to doing their jobs?
Again, I think that the groundwork for us had been laid so many years before. This is our 63rd year in business, and in addition to serving our community with professionalism and care and the utmost respect and dignity, my father always thought it necessary to give back and to share what it was that God had blessed him with. And so we had, down through the years, picnics and community engagements of all kinds, and our staff family was always involved in that. And then we also had all kinds of social events, parties, and whatnot. The staff family and in our family, and that's just what we've done. And so we are a close knit staff family. And when this happened, it served us well, because we didn't have to get to know each other in this devastating environment. We didn't have to develop a loyalty and a sense of trust.
That's right.
It was already there.
Right.
It was already there. We had a foundation. And so we were able to link arm to arm. And we are stronger as one chain that any of us are as a single link.
That's right.
And we found out what we're really made of as we went through this together. And again, we lifted and thanked our father. Our staff loves our dad, and they on a daily basis they reflect on how strong his life and now his legacy has made them. And so we're all right. We're all right.
I hear you.
We are better.
Yes.
We're, as we said, we didn't just survive it, but we have thrived through it and grown as a result of it.
As you manage the restrictions surrounding masks, social distancing, and a limited number of individuals, like crowd control, being permitted to a viewing or a service, how did you navigate families who wanted to say their goodbyes?
And that's been a difficult situation for us, because our mantra, as you well know, is personal service. And this is what we have known all our lives. We have watched our father serve tirelessly. There was no request that was ever too big to fulfill, none too small. So one of the things that COVID did, specifically within our family funeral home, was to, on some level, strip us of that ability to serve the way in which we are used to serving. We had to become very creative to carry that out. And to that point, we have served under the guidelines that the CDC and the governor has placed upon us, but very much fulfilling as best we can the desires of our family. But it has been heart-wrenching to us because that is what we do. We serve and honor families and help them to memorialize their loved ones in the way in which, they would want. And to not have the ability to do some of that has certainly been very challenging for us.
For sure. The typical level of intimacy, like genuine, supportive hugs and kisses that friends and family members would share, has been removed because of the virus. Hosting repasses was also deleted. The sadness and the grief was truly altered. I know that your family continues to be laser focused on being committed to providing personal services for many individuals and grieving families. You have maintained this edict for numerous decades. COVID-19 shifted everything. When you think about yourselves as individuals leaving the office to go home, how did you reduce the stress that you were experiencing personally?
That's we're both silent because
that is because we have families that ask us, how do you do this? How do you do this every day? How do you do this? And I think Lynn spoke to that very well at the top of the hour when she talked about our faith, the grace of God. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt we have angels that watch over us and give us strength.
There's no question about it. We've got friends that we're checking in with regularity, sending text messages and emails and emojis and Kim's got a beautiful family, husband and children that met her at the door. My mom was there with a smile when I arrived home.
We are without words because this. I know that it is really grace. It's grace.
Yeah. It is only grace and His mercy and His love. The friend said, I saw you at a service on television and I cringed when I saw all those people trying to hug you and Kim and I said, no, don't feel that way. Our elders say that He protects babies and fools. Well, call me a fool, but I believe that He has protected us. He's had His arms around us every step of the way throughout this horrific time. And if someone feels comfortable enough to reach out, and they're masked and protected, and I am too, and they want to embrace me, I don't reject that, because that goes such a long way. I consider that an angel along the way, bringing something that's going to take me much further down the road than I could anticipate. It's a small gesture,
but a huge one.
But a huge one.
Absolutely. We know how important physical touch is, and how connecting with people who love you, people who care about you is. And that has been devastatingly missing during this entire pandemic. The need for physical touch has all but been gone. It is wonderful that you are able to receive and be protected because God's got you. And we know that that helps so many people. The idea that that is something that is like we don't do because of fear, because of what we've been told that we need to reduce, has been truly challenging. It is important to take good care of yourself mentally and physically. Do you have any self-care tips that you have used to get you through this difficult, challenging period?
You know, we know how to take care of others very, very well. But I know I speak for Lynn and I, we don't do a very good job when it comes to ourselves. We take care of others very, very well and know how to do it well. And that's something that I think is a work in progress.
It is. It's a good way to put it.
It's a work in progress.
But I will say, you probably eat the best of the two of us.
And that is only because I do still have one child at home, so I have to make it look right.
And that helps.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
When we do eat, we try to eat the right thing.
That's yeah, absolutely.
We do, and yeah.
But that's a work in progress. That's for segment 2.
I hear you. We also know how important sleep is.
What is that?
Exactly.
What is that?
I know you've been floating on fumes for months, and you have a Heavenly Father that is holding you up through the days, through the hours, through the minutes, through the seconds of all of the challenges that you are experiencing in your business. Earlier, Kim, you mentioned that you had a school-aged child at home. And when we think about what parents' responsibilities are as they are dealing with virtual learning, working from home or working within the home, it has been altering the relationships from parents to children significantly, trying to find a balance, trying to find a way to incorporate everything like balanced meals, like good sleep, like exercise, to make sure that we stay as healthy as we possibly can. So, yes, segment 2. We'll focus more on that self-care. Yeah. I know that this has been your life's work. You have infused your faith throughout this podcast. It has been what God has called you to do. How early in your lives did you know that this calling would capture your career?
You know, we literally grew up in the funeral home. Before we moved out of the funeral home, my brother and I were small children and lived with our parents above the funeral home. And Mom would put my brother and I in a double stroller many times and while services were in progress, and hook our collie's leash to the stroller and take us to Belle Isle. That's when the boulevard ran underneath East Jefferson Avenue. So, that's been a long time ago. And there were still ponies on Belle Isle, and we'd ride the ponies and play. And after services were out, we'd come back. Mom would prepare dinner, and we'd run through the funeral home playing. It was just a natural place for us to be. And as we grew, the three of us would spend summers. At some point, Dad required that we come even in the summertime, that we spend some time working. And then in high school weekends, we would spend time working in the business. So we literally have grown up in the business, though Dad never required us to come into this business. It was natural. And Kim will tell you what from her perspective, where it was for her. For me, I really thought professionally after college, my profession of choice would have been in broadcast arts. And I prepared for a career in that regard. But somewhere along the way, it was clear to me that was not where I was supposed to be. That for me would have been a wonderful profession. The way we do it is a ministry. That would have been a choice. This work is what chose me. And here I am.
That's absolutely true. And thanking my father now for the opportunity to make choices. I will say that neither of our parents guided us in one direction or the other. We were given choices. I even clerked at a law firm one summer before graduating from A&T, thinking that I would go into the law. And he allowed that opportunity to happen. Ultimately, I went to mortuary school, Wayne State, and even brought a husband from New Jersey back into our industry. So everything that has happened, I will say from my perspective, certainly has been driven by God and divine order. Because for me to be able to do the things that I did and come back, not just as an individual, but with my family, with my husband, to work side by side, that was nothing but divine order and God.
My. It is my honor to thank both of you for your service as last responders on the front line. May you be blessed, and thank you sincerely for all that you do. We are so grateful. Thank you both.
Thank you, Dr. Furman.
Thank you.
God bless you.
And God bless you as well.
Up early in the morning, getting the kids ready for school. Rise and grind, yeah. Pack a lunch or two. Talking about I gotta be at work in a few, yeah. Hey, for your daily news. Hey, grinding just for you, yeah. When you don't have a clue, yeah. We ain't got the scoop for you, yeah.
Anyway, y'all already know how to do. It's the Rise and Grind Morning Show. That's what we do every Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Wake y'all asses up. That's how I got to say that. Because if I don't say it like that, people will get it confused. This is some real things that goes on with real people. And y'all, look who we got in the studio. None other than the one and only Richard.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Miles. Good morning, Detroit. Good morning, world.
Welcome.
Hey.
Welcome to the world. Oh, look who just flew in.
Flew in. I heard that helicopter outside.
There you go.
There she go.
On the paper plane this morning.
It was going. It was going. Anyway. So Richard was just. In case y'all missed last night's shows, the Pink Partner Gurf. Richard was saying how.
Oh man, fire.
Gurf was on fire yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, and I kind of concur. I kind of agree with Richard. It was dope. What'd you say? She said, let me make sure my ears safe. She been getting them Kanko ears. Anyway, she got Kanko ears. Something. So, in case y'all don't know, the voice that y'all hearing is the one who keep her ear to the streets and her ears clean because she always got wipes. She got wipes. She got wipes. Every ear she blow. She hate them. Anyway, she got wipes. That part. So listen, y'all. No, thank you, Richard, for listening to Gurf last night.
Oh yeah.
And I got like 3 phone calls this morning. Like, dog, y'all was dope as hell last night. I was like, well.
That's because I was here.
Yeah, that's because he was injured. I'm not going to lie.
It was Miles. You know how it was so dope? I was watching one of my favorite shows at the time, and I cut down the TV. It was like, no, the Gurf is going on. It's going down, man.
That's dope. That's dope. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. Trust me. And we got a new member coming on the Gurf, Don Snipes. So shout out to Don.
All right.
I know. Shout out. He was dope.
Don, yeah. No Don.
He was dope.
No. So right now, okay, don't forget, y'all, we giving away cheesecake. We got cheesecake.
No, I went and got me some yesterday, baby.
You ain't bring none back. See, we were talking about that selfishness.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
You okay being selfish?
I accept it. I accept the call, the charge on my life to not share shit. I accept it.
You want to share? Wait till they. Oh, okay. I got you.
And guess what? He working on my one, baby. Okay. We're gonna have a debut of my special one. The Fifi cheesecake is coming out. Okay. I can say that.
One. That's when he gonna give you one cheesecake. He ain't working on the one. He working on one cheesecake just for your ass.
He working on my one.
your one. That's all you gonna get is one.
Miles, I don't need but one at a time. I can't eat 3 cheesecakes at one time. He don't got to make them but one at a time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, shout out to Victor.
I know.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Victor.
He ducked off, too. I had to find it.
Did you?
I accidentally found it. Let me tell you. So I went over there, right? I called myself going to leave out early yesterday so I could make it to the cheesecake place because I was just fiending it. I could smell it in my nose that I just wanted one so bad. And
what do you mean? You smell cheesecake in your nose?
I smelled it. It was just like all in me. Like I was, like every time I was breathing, it felt like I had cheesecake or something. And I just realized that's how bad it was.
Like somebody's son to me.
That's a cheesecake.
Ew. So I had went over there and everything, and I end up I was looking down the thing, and I said, he said that the name was different on there, so I didn't see nothing that said nothing about no bakery, wasn't no mixing bowls or nothing in front of no windows or nothing, right? So I'm like, where the hell is that? So I go down to the liquor store. Who out there taking the order, talking to somebody?
Victor.
I opened it. I looked at it. I said, Mr. Washington. He didn't believe me that I was coming there to get a cheesecake, but I followed him on around to the cut because you got to go around to the back of the cut.
I was gonna say, it is an easy spot, but it would be hard to find just that little.
Yeah, if you don't know where you're going, you don't even know. Like you were just
on the other side.
I didn't even know that there was a whole nother strip of stores behind that strip.
Yeah,
you're not the only one.
See what I'm saying?
No, you the only one. It's been like that for a while, Fifi. Don't let him fool you.
Miles.
What? I'm sorry. Hey.
Don't try to steal my joy.
Okay, I forgot. Damn.
It's hump day. Don't steal my joy.
Joy stiller. I'm the joy stiller. I'm the joy stiller. So
You're crazy.
I'm crazy as hell right about now. Duh. So shout out to Funky Cold Mixologist last night, man. She had them drinks popping.
Oh, man.
She did.
That drink is so strong. Phoebe's like,
ooh, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do this.
she ain't gonna.
I smoke my alcohol. You got me tripping.
Oh, wow.
Them drinks was good.
They was.
Shout out to Q and Chef Wilson. They did their damn thing yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that look on your face when you had took that first sip. I saw it. I was like,
you got to keep yourself together.
I said, look at Miles. That's like, I hope he can continue the rest of the show.
Miles had 67 sips. Okay, so he was used to it by the third. 67.
At least 76. So I like to give a special shout out to my God. He's dear to my heart. He's one of my biggest mentors, Mr. Andrew Wallace, y'all. Give him a shout out. Andrew is one of the dopest men I ever met in my life, so shout out to Andrew. Today, we're going to talk about the difference between being self-educated and being, self-educated, self-motivated, but mostly, it seemed like, how can I put it? Why self-education is important, even after you had your education. Yeah, let's go with that. Because
you said why self-education is important even after you had education.
Yeah, because most people just, once they graduate from school, they think they got it.
Yeah, they think they know it.
And I agree. And that's not true. Because I know some dumbass people that graduated from college. I know some dumbass people with degrees.
Oh,
I mean most.
Okay, don't look at you.
Okay, let me just go on here.
We ain't gonna say most.
I don't want to get into it.
But a lot of people I know that got them degrees, they dumb as hell in the sense of not being aware of what's going on in their community, not being aware of what's going on in their job place, because they believe once you get a job, it's forever. No, your ass can get fired.
Yeah, that's the thing that I've always had a battle with workers. Like,
thinking they're irreplaceable.
Yeah, they think they're irreplaceable, and they think that that's just the it. Like if you're not working a job, then you not doing nothing or whatever. And I think that that's absolutely crazy because
it's crazy as hell.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you have to understand that they conditioned to be in a tunnel for the rest of their life, and they accepted it. I mean, you drank the Kool-Aid, I didn't.
Right.
That's just how I see it because I could respect the skills tradesman more than I can somebody with a whole like just a doctorate and stuff like that or whatever. I don't give a damn about that. I really don't, to be honest. I mean, and I'm not knocking nobody who's done it or whatever, and and that's one of their accomplishments. That's just not something that I'm striving for, to be honest. I would rather learn through life.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like when Miles was talking about that self-education. I think that is very important because
absolutely.
I noticed like back when I was in high school thinking, well, I didn't think I knew it all, but you learn and you're learning. Then I get to college. African studies, that's one of my, I love learning about African history.
Oh my God,
whatever.
I love it. Yes. Yeah.
But then I get to Wayne State and take this African Canada study class and like, I ain't know nothing. You know, it's like you said, got to continue, learning.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have to continue your education. But I mean, it's all about what you learning too. You know what I'm saying? Just a whole bunch of trigonometry is really not gonna get you get you that far in life as much as, like you said, taking up literature and things like that or whatever, because that'll help you learn cultures and it'll help you learn how to adapt in different environments in life and make you understand why things are going the way it's going. So let me step back. I'm not saying I'm not against education. I'm just against forced what do you want to call it? I guess like structured on, you know what I'm saying? It depends on what is geared towards or whatever. Like I just think that just to go and just say that you learn this book or whatever, or you know what I'm saying? Like that's not really saying a lot, because for instance, I have a friend who graduated very top in her class from college with a degree in criminal justice. We've been friends for like about 15 years. She ain't never had a job in criminal justice. Never. You know what I'm saying? I've always made more than her. And I got kicked out of school when I was a sophomore. So You know what I'm saying?
Miss Fifi, not you.
No.
Hell yeah.
We ain't gonna talk about
She
that.
got kicked out of kindergarten. That's how they got this. That's kindergarten and kicked out.
But you know what I'm saying? And she always say that. She always be like, this degree ain't shit because, you know, she and she has really been adamant about looking for different things in that field, and she's never been able to get nothing, you know, that really was worth going to punch in for with a whole degree. Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel college is not for everybody.
It's not.
Yeah, they try to say it is, but it's not.
Yeah.
And like you said, I know some people who took trades and making buku.
Hell yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
man,
I'm talking about businesses and all of that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not trying to say, you know, not trying to knock college, but like I'm saying, it's not for everybody. So, I mean, if you could take a trade, go take a trade, and you'll be surprised. You make you some dough.
Yeah. I say the only thing you probably need to go to college for is like to be a doctor or something like that, or because everything else you can pretty much learn by trade and get in it through trade. Like even an architect or anything, you can learn that by an apprenticeship. Like, and people don't even talk about that type of stuff no more. What happened to Votech?
Oh yeah, Votech. I remember that bus.
You know what I mean? What happened to Votech?
Yeah.
What happened to that? Like they don't even want us to learn those trades no more. And you have to wonder why. And that's because it's a great income. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a great livelihood for yourself to go and take up plumbing, to take up electrical, you know, to be an electrician, to go and do mechanic work and things like that. Like, you know, to actually be certified in these things, you can make a lot of money. Like you can kill a doctor with that. You know what I'm saying?
Did you say kill?
You could kill a doctor's pay with that, baby. I'm trying to tell you. Yeah.
That just goes back to that. Got to learn to self-educate yourself.
Absolutely.
So much out there. You know, just grab a book, like they say. You'd be surprised.
Yeah. You don't have to have no degree to have assisted living homes, but they making that bread, baby. Like, I'm just saying.
Miles, you ain't got the donuts this morning.
I don't got no damn donuts.
Let me tell you something. Miles don't give a damn about nobody that come in here with him in the mornings, okay?
Well, first of all,
he probably be eating them under the table by himself.
I got some coffee.
Miles, you got a whole thing back. That's not nothing new.
Tea.
That's not new.
Hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate.
No, I'll take it.
Where the bread at? Where the bacon at? The cheese grits.
Cheese grits. Well,
yes.
Get your ass in the kitchen to go ahead and make
Where the English muffins and strawberry jelly?
That's around the corner on 12 Mile.
This is what I'm trying to tell you.
Well, look, Fifi, we not going to go. Now you put me on Front Street. People watching.
I want them to. I need a witness. I need about 8,000 witnesses. Is it 8,000 of them watching? We short. Let's keep petitioning.
I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know.
Miles, what you think about this whole education thing, sir?
Well, I think a lot of times we are forced, and we force our children and try to hype people up to go to college, and really they don't even know what they really want to do. And it force people to go into depression a lot of times because they like, what the hell going on? I went to college, and they don't even know what they're there for most of the time.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
So, with that being said, they are wasting the money. Family, friends are sending the money and shit, and they still sitting in the lunchroom talking about, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I just failed all my tests.
Yeah.
With stress, you can lose sleep.
I mean, it's like prison. It's like an educated prison.
Like prison.
Yeah, it's like an educated prison. They teach you a life of crime.
Right.
I learned a life of crime in college.
Wow. A couple of my friends did too.
Yeah.
They learn how to manipulate people very well.
Yeah, I truly learned a life of crime. It was amazing.
It was amazing.
Wow, amazing.
I don't know about being amazing. Manipulating people is, but I will say this. Self-educating yourself is very helpful because, one, you will want to learn more because you're going to want to do more. Reading become a second nature when you educating yourself. It's like you can't put books down. Like I said, I know T-Rex like, Miles, you a lie. You ain't read no 400 books. I read 400 books in a year. And the only reason why I know I read 400 books because every single Tuesday and Thursday, I would go to Border Books and I'd buy at least 10 to 15 books. Easy. And I didn't buy big books. I bought small books like Who Moved My Cheese? Purple Cow wasn't out there, but Who Moved My Cheese? Superman and Man, just real small books, and I read a lot of books about my people, so I could learn about people and how to deal with people, because I wasn't really a people person unless
you are now.
No.
Okay. Trying to see if you have evolved overnight or something.
But I am better. I learned how to give people things without wanting to receive nothing back. My instant gratification is seeing people light up when you say, "I do that for you." Because I done had people in my life that sit there and do things for me and they never came across. It never walked across my door path. However, I have made it my goal to really stick to my self-education, and encourage other people to do the same. If you want to take some extra classes online or whatever, or go to some conferences, I definitely encourage you to do that, to get some one-on-one with other people and see how other people operate. I think that'd be good, but always self-educate yourself. Don't let that piece of paper validate who you are or validate how far you can go.
There it is.
Yeah, I definitely say that. Rich, you have a daughter in college, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, when she decided to go to college, how did you feel? I mean, what was your thoughts? Because your daughter seemed like she pretty much knew what the hell she wanted to do.
Yeah, at first no, but at first no, but now she's on it. But yeah, that was just always a dream of hers of going. And she wanted to go to college. She was the type. She knew what she wanted to do, and for a minute she didn't. But then she's like, "Dad, this is definitely I want to like to." She liked the journalism.
Okay,
and so she's into that. And she's been doing ever since, I want to say 10th or 11th grade. She prepared herself into going into college,
That's dope.
For,
that's
doing that. So behind her, she's one of the people, not because she's my daughter, but college is for her. Mm-hmm. She drives me crazy sometimes, though. Just like yesterday, she had a quiz and her laptop wouldn't come through, and she almost broke down throwing things in the house. Like, oh, they calm down, She that type. I mean, she just serious about her education. She just love education.
And that's what's up. Yeah,
she's serious about it. So, like I was saying, some kids, if it's for them, yes, but if not.
It was Auntie Mabel. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm so used to hearing that. I thought it was a call coming.
Right.
But she's striving, and she really loved the college experience.
That's dope.
She loved it.
Okay.
That's what's up. Yeah.
So, Fee, in all, when you hear about people saying that, do you have any advice to people who want to do certain things? Like, if they say, "Look, I want to do like being a truck driver, right? Getting your license." Doing things like that, like getting trades, that's to me that's more so like on point, especially if you got a family.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you can learn a trade anywhere between 90 to 120 days and then start using it to make some money,
right,
to bring in some income. And it was a young lady I'm jumping right quick, but it was a young lady who had experienced HBCUs, and she wrote a book because she dropped out her second year of college or going into her third.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she wrote a book called Everything They Didn't Tell You About HBCUs. And so she went around to all the college fairs when they're doing college fairs selling the book. And she made like $1.5 million.
Wow.
1.2 or $1.3 million.
I can imagine.
Within her first year and a year and a half of selling those books.
Yeah.
That's how many people be interested in going to HBCUs. I did not know Albert Einstein taught at HBCU. That's kind of deep to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I think if you're going to seek education in a institution, a college institution, HBCU, however you want to put it, I think you have to really hone in and be focused on what you want to do. You have to have a goal, a purpose.
You have to.
Yeah, because if not, your ass going to be looking crazy.
Because it's like, I mean, I just feel like going to college is like shopping at TJ Maxx.
Explain.
Because you know how like you go or Furman Mills, Burlington, them type of stores where you have to go in there and dig out what you want out of it.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? I just feel like that's how college is. Like, it's there is not a set direction. I will say that. I think that you have to go in there and carve out what you want out of it, you know, as opposed to if you go to a trade school or something like that, you already, you know, the structure is already set there for you because everybody, you know, it's already understood what you're coming here for.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But when you go to college, people go for so many different reasons. It's so many different majors and stuff like that. And, you know, and the lines can easily be crossed, and you can get caught up into some stuff that, you know, you didn't prepare for, anticipate, or nothing like that. Especially being the fact that we dealing with babies, and they going, you know, I mean, right now they not going back on campus. You know what I'm saying, for the most part, but before they was going on campus, and it's just like a whole world. And they had a curfew before they left. Yesterday they had a curfew. Today it ain't no limits. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, if they not focused on what they doing and they just go here and they be like, oh, well, I'm gonna just take my general classes and stuff like that or whatever. Do you know how sidetracked you could get doing mess like that? You know what I'm saying? Like that's I mean, I'm a scatterbrain. I admit it. And I'm telling you, when I went there and I was doing this general studies mess, like, baby, Wow. That's breeding grounds for a life of crime. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Wow. Yeah, that's why I had told my daughter when she entered college, and she said she wanted to go into journalism. I said, "Is that what you really want to do?"
Yeah.
I mean, because you don't want to go through this whole process, and you get to the end, you graduate, and you know where
you don't need like holding the mic up to people's mouth,
and not even
be
working,
mad as
not
hell,
working in that field.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But her heart is really into it, so I see it. So I'm like, okay.
And that's what's up, though. Like, you know, that's very admirable. Like, that's the bomb, because a lot of kids don't feel that way. They don't know what they want to go and do. You know,
my first year at Wayne State, I'm like, okay, I'm about to be a physical therapist. No, I'm going into journalism. No, it is. If you don't have that set thing of what you want to go, you'll be lost. Lost.
And also, you know, like I think it all falls back on, you know, some of a bulk of the responsibility falls back on the parent too, to keep the child structured. Like, you kept asking her, you kept talking to her, asking her like, hey, what you want to do? What you want to do? So we both, I know that you know that I know, but you know what I'm saying, that you know what you want to do. Because if not, then we